guys, we are here to talk about the agrarian reform in the Philippines. So, when we say agrarian, it means the land property. So, what's the history of the agrarian reform in the Philippines? So, ano nga ba ang history? So, before the pre-colonial times, ang mga tao noon ay tinatawag nilang taong gala. So, bakit taong gala? Because sila ay yung mga taong palipat-lipat na lang ng tirahan because there was no landowners before because kukunti lang yung mga tao. So, the community before were called the barangay. So, which is they are led by the chief or the datos. So, mga datos noon ay yung mga pinakamataas na pamahalaan noon or let's just say na they were so-called mayors as now. So, parang mayor lang sila noon. And then, when the Spanish era, Spaniards came to the Philippines and introduced the Roman Catholic and spices, or specifically the agricultural. So, nung nasakop na tayo ng mga Espanyol, which is pagdating nila, si Catuna, which is the chieftain in the Bohol, and si Manuel Lopez de Legazpi, isang Espanyol, and they were going to have a tribal tradition, which is to seal friendship. So, doon nagsimula ang term na, or pangalan na Sandugo. So, Sandugo is a Visayan term, which is one blood. So, before, there is no proper owning of land. So, that's when the Spaniards came, and that's where the barter started. Though, the barter means is just exchanging in goods. So, like, when the story of my grandfather before, like, kung saan kaya mong linisin or kung kaya mong linisin yung lupain na yan, kung ilang hektarya pa yan, kaya mong linisin at tamnan ng mga halaman, sa iyo na. So, like, so natanong nyo lang na, bakit yung mga tao noon ay maraming hacienda? Or not exactly mostly, but some people, some ancients were own a haciendas. So, wow, advertisement. So, okay. So, bakit nga ba? So, it is like barter exchanging in goods, like marami akong halagang mga manok. Kaya, ako gusto kong bilhin yung lupain mo, ilang hektaryang lupain mo, akin gusto kong bilhin yan. So, anong ginawa ng isa is, gusto naman yung, anong ginawa nila is, nagkausap sila para makaintindihan na exchanging of halagang mga manok at yung mga that land. So, kaya nagkaroon ng maraming hacienda yung iba kasi it's because of the barter. And then, that's the way of the ancient people before. So, and then, mabuti naman yung ugnayan ng mga Kastila at mga Pilipino noon, but suddenly change because meron na yung mga abusadong Kastila or yung iba naging abusado na. So, paglipas na maraming taon, nabuo naman ang Comprehensive Agrarian Reform in the Philippines. So, which is signed by the President or the ex-President, Corazon C. Aquino, on last 10th June 1988. So, and it's, this law is responsible for the implementation of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. Pag narinig yung CARP, that's it. So, in the Philippines, so, it is state policy that ensures and promotes welfare of the farmers and farm workers, as well as the elevation of social justice and equity among areas. So, ginawa itong law para magkaroon ng equalidad sa bawat na isa. Especially sa farmers na naghirap like before, yung mga slaves sa mga Kastila noon. Kaya, dito, gusto natin magkaroon ng equalization. So, that's it.
So hello everyone, today I am going to discuss about the American era. So this happened after the pre-Spanish War period in the Philippines, the pre-colonization of the Spanish in our country. So starting off with the Philippine Bill of 1902, this law provides regulation disposal of public lands wherein a private individual can own 16 hectares of land while the corporate land holdings can avail of 1,024 hectares. So this law gives provides regulation and disposal of public lands. So they give up lands, private lands that anyone, but it has a limitation of 16 hectares only, and land holdings can avail of 1,024 hectares. So the next one is Land Registration Act of 1902, or Act number 496. This provided for a comprehensive registration of land titles under the Torrent system. So the Torrent system is a land registration in which a register of land holdings maintained by the state guarantees an invisible title to those included in the register. So Torrent system is like you're a title holder or something of the land. And the next one is the Public Land Act of 1903. This introduced the homestead system in the Philippines, thus allowing an enterprising tenant to acquire a farm of at least 16 hectares to cultivate. So, introduced the homestead system in the Philippines, thus allowing an enterprising tenant to acquire a farm. So, a tenant is freely to have a 16 hectares of land so that they can work on it. Aside from the Torrent system, the Americans also introduced the following laws, which are the Rice Tenancy Act 1933, or Act number 4054, which is this one. This regulated relationships between landowners and tenants of rice, and the first law to legalize a 50-50 crop sharing arrangement. So, from the word is rice sharing, which is they should have an equal exchange of goods. The next one is the Sugarcane Tenancy Contracts Act of 1933, or Act number 4113. This regulated relationships between landowners and tenants of sugarcane fields and required tenancy contracts on land planted with sugarcane. So this law is all about the landowners and the tenants to have ownership. So both of them have the ownership of the sugarcane land. Next one is the Fireland Act, or number 1120. This provided of administrative and temporary leasing, selling of fire lands to its tillers. So this law is about letting someone rent their own land for good use, like planting crops or anything. So the Torrent system, which the Americans instituted for the registration of lands, did not help the farmer situation completely. Further worsened the land ownership situation, wherein there was no limit on the size of land holdings one could possess. Land holdings were once again concentrated in the hands of the few. So the next one is the Commonwealth period, which is under by Manuel Quezon during his time. So significant legislation enacted during the Commonwealth period includes the 1935 Constitution to provide specific provisions on the promotion of social justice to ensure the well-being and economic security of all people should be the ones in the state. So every farmers, peasants, or landowners should have their what, safe way of that safe way of taking things out, something like that. And the next one is Commonwealth Act of 178, which is not in here. An amendment to Rice Tenancy Act number 4045 on November 13, 1936. It provided for certain controls in the landlord-tenant relationship. So it just this law just improved the landlord and the tenant's relationship. And the next one is Commonwealth Act number 461 of 1937. It specified that dismissal of tenants should first have the approval of the Tenancy Division of the Department of Justice. So landlord cannot dismiss or fire someone without amending on the Now, for the last era is the Japanese era. During the Japanese occupations, peasants and workers organized the Hukbo, bayan laban sa mga Hapon or the Hukbalaha, on which they took over vast tracts of land and gave the land and the harvest to the people. For them, the war was a golden opportunity for people's initiative to push proper programs. Landlords were overpowered by the peasants, but unfortunately, at the end of the war, through the help of the military police and civilian guards, landlords were able to retrieve their land from the Hukbalhap. So that's the summary of the whole story during the Japanese era or the Japanese colonization of the Philippines. There's a lot of things that happened to our country that time, which is really bad. And yeah, so that's all for today. Thank you for watching and listening.
The Philippine Republic. Series of revolts, joined mostly by the peasant workers, lead to the Philippine independence in 1946. However, the problem of land tenure still remained. President Manuel A. Rojas, Republic Act No. 34. It established the 1730 sharing arrangement, unregulated share tenancy contracts. Republic Act No. 55. It provided for a more effective safeguard against arbitrary of tenants. President Elpidio R. Quirino enacted Executive Order No. 335. It replaced the National Land Settlement Administration with Land Settlement Development Corporation, or also known as LADESCO, which took over the responsibilities of Agriculture, Machinery, Equipment Corporation, and the Rice and Corn Production Administration. President Carlos P. Garcia continued to implement the land reform program of President Magsaysay. President Diosdado P. Macapagal enacted Republic Act No. 3844 on August 8, 1963, or the Agricultural Land Reform Code. This was considered to be the most comprehensive piece of agrarian reform legislation ever enacted in the country.
Hi, I'm Keisha, and this is my share of the vlog. So, presidents, as the chief of state, are also the head of the legislature in our nation. So that means that they have big responsibilities concerning the laws and implementing it, especially in economics. So how about let's see how they've handled it and what are the laws that they have implemented or to give their share of how our nation is right now. So to start off, his regime was infamous for its corruption, extravagance, and brutality. But despite all those, he was able to put our country in the top 3 most wealthy countries in the world. Or he is also best known to be the first president to declare martial law in our country. And that is Ferdinand Emmanuel Edrelin Marcos Sr. He was elected president in 1965 and presided over a growing economy during the beginning and intermediate portion of his 20-year rule. But it ended in loss of livelihood, extreme poverty, and a crushing debt crisis. So that is after the martial law. But our country was actually wealthy that time, and this is what or the laws that he have implemented to make our economy rise like that. President Marcos enacted the following laws. First, he have the Presidential Decree Number 2 of September 26, 1972. It declared the country under Land Reform Program. It enjoined all agencies and offices of the government to extend full cooperation and assistance to the Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR. It also activated the Agrarian Reform Coordinating Council. Second, this is the Presidential Decree Number 27 of October 21, 1972. It restricted land reform scope to restricted rice and corn lands, set the retention limit at 7 hectares. These laws were particular on land reform programs, and this is when the Agrarian Reform Coordinating Council was also founded. This is purely agriculture. This was also the start of the rising of livelihood when it comes to agriculture, and that is how our country was popularly known to be a rice capital or something. And then the second presidential decree was about setting limits to 7 hectares for tenanted rice and corn fields, that is for every owner or for every haciendero. Next to Marcos was the mother of Asian democracy, who led the People Power Revolution against a dictatorial regime. And she was the Time magazine's Woman of the Year to be the first female president in Asia. That is Maria Corazon Cory Cuonco Aquino. Cory was a self-proclaimed plain housewife. So let's see how she was able to be a mother to our nation. What are the laws that she have done to rise our economy or to help our economy? Legislations and issuances passed under President Aquino were the following. The first one is the Executive Order number 228 of July 16, 1987. This declared full ownership to qualified farmer beneficiaries covered by PD 27. It also determined the value of remaining and valued rice and corn land subject of PD 27 and provided for the manner of payment by the farmer beneficiaries and mode of compensation or form of payment to landowners. This is, I think, the start of the giving lands for the poor, and especially those who are worthy of it, and those who were, and this is also about the farmer salaries and the equality of the landowner and the farmers of a said land, rice or corn field. Second is the Executive Order number 229 of July 22, 1987. It provided mechanism for the implementation of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law. And this was the start of the CARP. Third is the Executive Order number 129A of July 26, 1987. It reorganized the Department of Agrarian Reform and streamlined and expanded the power and operations of the said department. It is um, it is already explained. Proclamation 131, the fourth law, it instituted CARP as a major program of the government. It provided for a special fund known as the Agrarian Reform Fund in the amount of 50 billion pesos to cover the estimated cost of the program for the period 1987 and to until 1997. So for 10 years, um 50 billion should be the estimated cost for every programs under the agrarian reform. The fifth one is the Republic number 6657 of June 10, 1988, or the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law Corp. This is an act instituting a comprehensive agrarian reform program to promote social justice and industrialization, providing the mechanism for its implementation and for other purposes. This law is still the one being implemented at the present. So, um, this is social justice. I mean, the levels, the poor and the rich, should be equally or should be accordingly set or something like that. The sixth one is Executive Order number 405 of June 14, 1990. It vested in the Land Bank of the Philippines the responsibility to determine land valuation and compensation for all lands covered by CARP in order for DAR to concentrate its efforts of the identification of land holdings and beneficiaries, the distribution of acquired lands, and the other subcomponents of the program. So this is for example of this is when you have to tax a realty, it should be um, no, known by the Land Bank of the Philippines. It should be paid according to the rules still under the Land Bank of the Philippines. So that's it. And the last one for Cory, it's the Executive Order number 407 of June 14, 1990. It accelerated acquisition and distribution of agricultural lands, pasture lands, fish ponds, agroforestry lands, and other lands of public domain suitable for agriculture. It is a giveaway for it's rising the economy on terms of agriculture. Following Cory was her Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Secretary of National Defense, who was also the 12th President of the Republic of the Philippines, who is General Fidel Valdez Ramos. Key accomplishments of President Ramos include Republic Act number 7881 of 1995. It amended certain provisions of RA 6657 and exempted fish ponds and prawns from the coverage of CARP. So there are other fish ponds and culturized prawn that is not under the law of the agrarian reform. Second is the Republic Act number 7905 of 1985. It strengthened the implementation of the CARP. So it is now highly highly implemented or should be followed strictly. And then the third one is the Executive Order of number 363 of 1987. It limited the type of lands that may be converted by setting conditions under which specific categories of agricultural land are either absolutely non-negotiable for conversion or highly restricted for conversion. For example, you have to turn a coffee plantation into a banana plantation, which is example was in Bukidnon. And there are other lands that you can just convert. For example, it's just the same as you can have the same plants on the same land because they have different needs. I'm not really acquainted with agriculture stuffs, but there is a process code there. Fourth one is the Republic Act number 8435 of 1937, the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act, or AFMA. It plugged the legal loopholes in land use conversation. So, um, it's still the same with conversion, but it is about modernization. So, um, you can um for example, you have to, maybe this includes the use of fertilizers or something. And the fifth one is the Republic Act number 80, 8532 of 1998, or the Agrarian Reform Fund Bill. It provided an additional 50 billion for CARP and extended its implementation for another 10 years. So it's absolutely used until now. It's the CARP, or the Agrarian Reform Program, is still um, used or implemented up to present. And it's also the same with the 50 billion fund, I think. And the last one, so Fidel V. Ramos is popularly known to be a famous film actor and playing the lead role in over 100 films in an acting career spanning some 3 decades, and model who was started as a fashion and ramp model at the age of 13. He used his popularity as an actor to make gains in politics. However, due to the allegations of corruption, he was pawned on an impeachment trial and was ousted by a people power revolution too. And that is Joseph Ejercito Arap Estrada, or Jose Marcelo Ejercito Sr. So President Estrada initiated an enactment of Executive Order number 151 in September 1999, or the Farmers Trust Fund, which allowed the voluntary consolidation of small farm operation into medium and large scale integrated enterprise that can access long-term capital. So Farmers Trust Fund, I think SSS, or the Social Security System for Private Institution, is included here. And this also means that the government was helping small farms um to extend into a more or a large scale plantation for to have a long-term capital. And then President Estrada also launched the Magkabalikat para sa Kaunlarang Agraryo, or Magkasaka. Its concept was for investors to bring in capital, technology, and management support, while the farmers will contribute at most the use of their land itself. So the government is wanting investments for these farms, or this for the agriculture, which is also done right now. And they have also bring in technologies for to make agriculture easy, and while the farmers do their work. I think that's it. That's for me. Thank you.